You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 190. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Spencer Valados.
Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can check out our show, plus many other cool podcasts like the all-new Anti-Fanboy, Super Podcasto Magnifico, and Ultimate Facepalm at rhymeswithgeek.com. And I'm cracking a beer. Yeah!
You can also follow us on Twitter at Comic Reflections.
There's no S.
At Comic Reflection.
Yeah, because they ran out of characters.
Oh.
We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. You could get in on the action and talk to us.
Yep.
Tell us how good or lousy the show is.
Yeah, tell us how much you hate us.
Yeah, so we do have a serious thing to talk about before we get going. Remember that thing we were talking about?
You're fired. Yeah.
I'm not fired.
Oh, okay.
This is my show.
That's right.
You work for me.
Yeah, we were doing another book.
We were doing a series of episodes about The Walking Dead, and really came to the decision to discontinue that because, one, I was super bored talking about them on the show. Let's be honest here. Even though they're a very good read, but the serious reason is a couple of them. One, there's absolutely no way not to do a not safe for work episode with that subject matter, that content.
Absolutely.
And that's really not the tone that I want for this show. So I've struggled with that. And frankly, the audience that we built, that people listen to the show, they're looking for Silver Age books. That's what they care about, and that's just too new.
And that's what we're going to give them.
Yes. Silver and Bronze Age books, and that's just what it's going to be about. It was definitely a misstep, and regrettable.
Yeah.
So.
I don't regret it.
Well,
honestly, I thought they were fun.
Yeah. Well, sort of. It's kind of like going to the DMV fun. Well, you get to mess around on your phone, and you get,
Yeah.
I don't know. Or like jury duty. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, only Pauly Shore is not in on this one.
Yeah, bummer.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to begin...
Green Lantern Volume 3.
Yes, Showcase presents Green Lantern Volume 3, because there are many other series of Green Lantern trades.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. So yes, but today we're gonna begin by talking about Green Lantern number 39. It's the September of 1965 issue, and the lead story is called "Practice Makes the Perfect Crime." It's written by John Broome, penciled by Gil Kane, and inked by Sid Green. And this story is the return of the Black Hand.
Yeah.
This might be the quickest return of a major villain after they're introduced.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, but it seems like we just talked to him about him a couple episodes ago.
And he rambles on to us, the reader, for quite a while.
Not only does he break the fourth wall, but he monologues pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I gave it. I'm like, okay, in the first story, the story that introduced him. All right, this is his introduction. You let him monologue a little while.
Mm-hmm.
He goes on for a while again.
Right.
I think that's just going to be the thing with Black Hand.
No, yeah, I was fine with it. I think it's fun when characters break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
But hey, don't lecture me. All right, Black Hand. So let's start the story. People around town are going to...
Which town? Coast City?
Coast City.
Yeah.
Are about town, and they are checking out different art galleries and different things.
Cultural stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
And Hal Jordan attends a couple with his beloved Carol Ferris. And she takes him to a
He's
painting.
not her beloved.
Right.
Yeah.
She takes him to a painting and talks about how lovely it is, and all these people are going on and on about it, but there's no painting in the
frame.
In the frame. And Hal can see, he's like, I don't see it. And then he kind of plays along so he doesn't seem weird.
Yeah.
But he decides he has to check it out. And so Oh wait,
They go to
another
modern art gallery,
right,
and Carol's
statue.
describing this statue that isn't there,
right,
and she's just going on and on about it. And I love the look on Hal's face when he's like,
yeah.
"What is she talking about? There's nothing there."
Right. I'm sorry. It starts off with Hal going to the doctor.
Oh,
and the doctor giving him a clean
right.
bill of health, and then him kind of retelling the story to... I thought it was Pieface, but I think he's just retelling the story... No, it is to Pieface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Turga? I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time together, but then Turga's never around.
Yeah, it seems like their marriage is off to a rough start.
Yeah, it's quite sad.
Hey, kind of like your marriage.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's right over there. Anyways, Hal goes to check out where the Greek statue is, and he finds that there's this rare kind of...
sorry, Heather. I was totally kidding.
Radiation coming from where the statue was, and he realizes...
Is this deadly radiation or just radiation? Just average, everyday radiation?
Just average, everyday DC Comics radiation.
Right. It's good stuff.
Right, yeah. And he realizes this could only be the work of the Black Hand.
Because reasons.
Right. Well, it's
because
special
nobody.
radiation.
It's always the signature just to him.
Right.
Because it's not like he's the only guy who has anything radioactive.
Right.
Like this is comics we're talking about. Not as much radiation at play as like Marvel comics.
Yeah.
Because it's everywhere. Mm-hmm. But I think this is like the radiation-heavy DC book.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about it. There's been a lot of stuff with radiation.
Oh, yeah. Everything is radiated here.
Okay.
And cancer's not a big deal, apparently. And so this is where Black Hand kind of breaks into the story. Like, haha, yes, Green Lantern is right. It is me. And here's what I've been doing. And so he explains that he wants to commit the perfect crime, and he's going to do that by stealing something, but then getting away with it without anyone ever knowing. And he's done this by replacing the statue and the painting with an illusion that they're there, and everyone else can see them.
And it doesn't work on Hal because he's Green Lantern.
Right.
Okay. The one thing that bothers me about that, supervillains, they want to pull off these great crimes because they want, to be recognized on how great they are, that they did it, and you didn't catch me. So if nobody knows he did it, that seems kind of out of character.
Right, yeah.
I mean, granted, this is only a second story, but I mean, typically for supervillains.
Yeah.
So
so Green Lantern catches up to Black Hand, and he captures him and puts him in a cage, and he's like, "You're going back to jail." I would like to mention though, Green Lantern has said, "Yeah, Black Hand broke out of jail a few weeks ago, but I couldn't find him, so I just gave up the search."
Except, hang on. You know his radiation signature pretty well.
Apparently.
How, or whatever. To me, that seems like more laziness than like. You also have a weapon that can do anything.
Yeah.
That you could ring, find Black Hand, and you could probably just go and beat him up or whatever.
Right.
I mean, right?
So maybe he had to give up the search because Earth isn't the only planet in his sector.
Okay, but he is spending a lot of time going to museums and crap with Carol.
That's true. Maybe
granted, he could have been like, "Hey, I gotta put in my 8 hours every day at my job."
Right.
Okay. I'm even willing to make other excuses for him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Okay.
All right. But so jumping back. Green Lantern has Black Hand in the cage, and all of a sudden Black Hand disappears, and he had just created an illusion that he had been captured, and he got away from Green Lantern again. Yeah. And so he, just as a reminder, he tells us, Black Hand does, that he's created this weapon that absorbs the residual radiation from Green Lantern's power ring. So whenever Green Lantern uses his power ring on anything, for anything, it leaves a residual radiation, and his weapon gathers that radiation,
And then he tries to use it on Green Lantern.
and then he can use it on Green Lantern.
I've said it before, and I'll say it here. That is so dumb. How do you... He's going to try and beat a superhero with residual energy that he kind of left behind.
Yeah.
That's like saying, I'm going to kill you by throwing your own crap at you.
Yeah.
It would never work. Like, it's going to make me mad.
Yeah.
But, stuff. Okay.
So Black Hand raises up above the city, above Coast City, and he fires off his weapon, and it sends out the residual radiation
From Green Lantern's
from Green
ring.
Lantern's ring. And he causes another illusion to make Green Lantern look like the Black Hand.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And so Green Lantern gets thrown in jail.
Because people see him and think it's the Black Hand.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
And he,
okay, score one for William Hand because that's actually clever. That actually makes sort of sense.
Yeah. And so he's...
Which
kind
in
of
this
hanging out-
series is a friggin' miracle.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like the stories that make more sense are the John Broome stories. And the ones that go into like, what are the ones that Gardner Fox writes?
Yeah.
So.
That's fair.
I mean, you think that's a pretty good estimation of...
Yeah, I mean, I'd want to look back at the exact issues, but...
Not that,
totally.
crazy, weird, stuff hasn't happened in John Broome's. It seems, like, a little more clear, so, anyway.
So, Hal's hanging out in jail, and he's realized, oh, shoot, I do look like a Black Hand, when he even... So, this was a little confusing for me. So, he looks at himself in the mirror, and he sees a Black Hand. But earlier, he was not tricked by the illusions of the painting and the statue.
Did Black Hand up the ante on the stuff? Or is it just a plot hole? Plot hole.
I'm going to say plot hole.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I love pointing these things out. Because, look, I have a blast reading this stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
This is my era for comics, Silver and the Bronze Age. But I think this is absolutely the best period for DC.
Mm-hmm.
But come on. You gotta have fun.
Yeah.
You gotta have fun, and I gotta point out this stuff.
Yeah. So he realizes, oh no, it's just about 24 hours since I charged my ring. And with his last burst of effort, he causes a phantom Green Lantern to find Pieface.
Oh yeah, Pieface.
And he's like, hey, I'm in jail and I look like the Black Hand. You gotta help me. And Pieface is like, alright, I'll do it. So Pieface has to grab the invisible power battery.
Oh yeah!
And take it down to the police station so Green Lantern can recharge his ring and then escape through the wall. Because he looks like Black Hand anyways.
Right.
Why not just escape?
Okay.
Which he does. And then he confronts Green Lantern in a bank vault, or outside of a bank. And they start to fight, but Hal loses his ring for a moment.
Why?
Because they fired their weapons at each other. Kind of at the same time.
And Black Hand's weapon absorbs stuff, so he was able to kind of take the ring.
Yeah.
And he punches Hal and knocks him into a fountain.
Yeah, he's about to drown him.
Very embarrassing.
But he clocks him twice.
Hal does.
Yeah. And then he's captured.
Yeah, I love how Hal gets into the fisticuffs despite having the most powerful weapon in the universe.
Right.
The thing is, Gil Kane really insisted on this because he's like, look, that's boring not to have him throw any punches. Or that's not a direct quote or anything.
Right.
But I think, I think there was a conflict there with like Julie Schwartz or something. It's like, look, it can't just be like the magic lamp that you just solve every problem. Like, sometimes you just gotta get into fisticuffs. It's a superhero.
Yeah,
Superheroes should throw punches.
Yeah, I understand.
And Hal does a lot of that.
I understand that idea, but if you have the most powerful weapon in the universe, you're gonna use it to beat up bad guys.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you would want to stray away from that.
Well, he's clearly used it to give himself, rock hard abs.
Right.
But when he's like generally not exerting himself physically, except for he's throwing these haymakers, and that's cool. But I don't know, it's fun. So Black Hand goes back to jail and monologues in the last panel.
Yep. Yeah.
You didn't have any more on that story? Okay. So the backup story is called The Fight for Championship of the Universe. And John Broome wrote it. Gil Kane did the pencils and Sid Green inked it.
Yep. Alright, yeah. So, Green Lantern's flying around Coast City. And in the sky, there's a like the clouds form words, and the words say, "Green Lantern, I challenge you to a fight, or challenge you to fight me. Signed, the greatest fighter of all." And so we find out this.
He's a great fighter because he's got like an old timey like a circus strongman like one strap like leopard skin print outfit.
Yeah, that's exactly how I knew he was strong.
Yeah. And he's bald, so he's evil. Or at least misguided.
Yes, at least misguided. So the whole city sees...
You know who is not bald? It actually has a pretty great head of hair. Is Black Hand. He's got some valleys though. But he doesn't have like a landing pad in the back. He's just got some like valleys in the front.
Yeah.
Because he's got that widow speak. But he's got most of his hair.
Yeah.
So, but just enough hair loss to be evil.
Yeah.
Super evil.
Right.
So anyway.
So we find out that these two guys, the strong man and his little pal.
What's the pal's name?
The
strong man is called Brew.
Then his pal is named Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Brew's last name is Tusfors, and so he gets renamed Brutus Force.
Yeah.
Which is a great name.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we find out that these two have traveled from a far-off planet, and they
in a galaxy far, far away.
Right. They travel to other planets, seeking out the strongest person on that planet, and they fight.
So how come Brutus Force isn't looking for Superman?
Because
this is a Julia Schwartz edited book, not a Mort Weisinger book.
Well,
is the real answer.
They explain it.
Oh, okay.
Also,
really?
they went to this one planet, which was in Green Lantern's sector.
Okay.
And Green Lantern had previously come and fought off some alien forces that were trying to take over.
Yeah.
And he saved them, and they're like, well, yeah, of course you can probably beat this guy, but you can never beat Green Lantern. And then he kept hearing it more and more often.
Oh,
and it kept getting like, well, I need to find this guy, and we need to settle a score.
Right.
And so he's come to Earth, and everyone he goes and finds like the newspaper guys. He's like, yeah, I want to fight him. And so the newspaper guys are like, let's put it in the papers, and they like make this big hoopla about it.
Of course.
And so
it's a media blitz.
Yeah. Green Lantern says, look, I'm not going to fight him because he hasn't committed a crime, and I'm not going to use the ring to prove myself to anyone. That seems like a misuse of the ring. So he has this kind of honor thing about it, and he's like, I'm not going to fight him. And so Brew's like, all right, you don't want to fight me because I'm not a criminal? Let's commit a crime. And him and Corey are kind of baffled by this, like, oh, this civilization still has crime? That's weird.
Well, it's not like it's a totally foreign concept. Oh, you just take something that doesn't belong to you or whatever.
Right.
Oh, okay. Which it's weird they come from a place where that's not a thing.
Right.
Especially because clearly he's an aggressive guy. Like, like if you have on a planet where that's still like prize fighters and like Rassel would be the toughest warrior guy. You would think in that kind of environment, crime is also a thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think of a planet that doesn't have crime being like Kolu or some like planet where there are just a bunch of brainiacs.
Right. Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. You know, so bunch of eggheads like the Guardians. You know.
Right.
So yeah.
Brew breaks into and Corey break into a bank, and they decide they're gonna steal some of this money because they're like, oh, this is what's so important to them. All right, let's take it. So they steal it, and I think the mayor, is it the mayor? No, the police commissioner.
Yeah.
Is like, look, Green Lantern, he committed a crime. You need to fight this guy now. And Green Lantern's like, all right, let's do it. And so they set up an arena, and they start fighting.
Yeah.
But everything Green Lantern does kind of just bounces off the guy.
Why is that?
Because he's so strong.
So he deflects like the things that he makes with the power ring?
Yeah.
Just because he's that strong?
Well, Hal fires a boxing glove at him.
Yeah.
And the
Green Arrow was there. He'd shoot boxing glove arrows at him.
The Brew punches the boxing glove back at him, and it barely misses him.
Yeah. How?
Barely misses Hal. And we see in the panel underneath that he hit it back with such force that it runs into a wall and breaks the wall.
Yeah.
And so Hal fires a bunch of stuff at him. Nothing. He creates this. He has to go on the defense and creates this kind of shield thing.
And Brew even punches it and dents it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is crazy strong.
Yeah.
So.
And so Hal's trying to think of what to do, and in that split second, he gets hit.
Yeah.
And he goes down for a second. Or does he actually go down? Yeah, he deliberately let him hit him. Let Brew hit him.
What's his plan? Does he just punch him a bunch or something? What does he do at super speed?
No, he bounces back and forth on the ropes.
Oh,
and starts going faster, and so it creates the illusion that there's a bunch of him.
Right.
And so
right.
when Brew goes to hit one, he chose the wrong one, and
Hal just cold cocks him.
Lets him have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Green Lantern wins, and they put Brew in handcuffs, and Hal says, look, he's returned all the money, he just wanted to fight me. He didn't commit, he wasn't trying to commit a crime, he just wanted to fight me.
He didn't do any harm.
Yeah. We're going to let him go, and he just can't ever return.
Which would never happen in real life.
Oh, absolutely not.
But it's a comic book.
Yeah.
And, because, yeah, I mean, he's not like he's a citizen of Earth.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would do something.
Yeah. So back on Brew and Corey's planet, Corey says, I've lined up a new series of fights for you, Brew. Forget about the debacle on Earth. Green Lantern tricked you. He took advantage. And Brew stops, hey, don't say that. He stops him. And he's
like, don't say anything bad about Green Lantern. He beat me fair and square.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and I think we didn't mention it. We should have. That this guy hated Green Lantern because he heard about how great he was everywhere he went, and he really had it in for him.
Yeah.
I don't think we emphasized that enough, but whatever.
And so his whole mindset about Green Lantern has changed. He won him in a fair and square fight, and all is good.
Yeah. What is it with characters? Bruce Force's friend, what's his name?
Corey.
Wears a derby, but it's like a tall, a top hat derby. But there's a lot of DC Comics characters that wear derbies. Doiby Dickles, who we're going to talk about in just a second.
Yep.
And Mixius Pitalik. I'm sure there's our other derby wearers, but those two really come to mind. I'm like, I don't know. I guess it's not really a thing.
Nah.
So, But yeah, let's talk about this next issue. It's Green Lantern number 40. It's the October of 1965 issue, and the story here takes up the whole issue.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff and I talked about this on an issue probably a year or so ago.
Okay.
But now we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we are.
And do a good one without a bunch of complaining.
Oh, I'm going to complain.
Because all Jeff does is complain. Jeff is my friend. Jeff is great, but he is like the curmudgeon of curmudgeons. He's in his 50s, and he just doesn't get so much stuff. He's like, bah, bah, all the time. And I have a lot of fun doing those shows with Jeff.
Yeah. And
then the shows I do with you are a stark contrast. Let's be honest.
Right.
And he'll never listen to this episode. Neither one of you listen to the show that you're on.
We don't.
Which is really bad because, like, look, I listen to the show like several times every week, like each episode, so that we'll get better.
You know what? And it's because I trust you.
Oh, thank you. Because I feel like you listen to the show, there are subtle things you pick up and you just improve.
Maybe I'll start listening to it.
Yeah, you should. You know, I know you put the effort to be on it. So anyway,
maybe I just don't like hearing the sound of my own voice.
God, Jeff hates that.
Oh yeah.
He can't stand it. I'm like, he is not a great speaker, but he does say a lot of funny things.
Yeah. And
he asks a lot of good questions. That, you know, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I hate that I have to be the fount of all knowledge. It drives me nuts because some days I'm just tired and I'm like, you know, I'm not on. I would like my co-hosts, in the plural, to like also know things.
I refuse to learn anything.
You do not. You're such a liar. You're pretty good about it. So, but anyway, the story in this issue. It's called Secret Origin of the Guardians. John Broome wrote it. Gil Kane did the pencils and Sid Green inked the thing. And this is great because we learned stuff about the Guardians. And Alan Scott guest stars. And, okay, Hal and Alan Scott have met before because of all the great JSA, JLA team-ups that they would do in Justice League of America.
Right.
Like every summer, it became a tradition. They would do a 2-part, sometimes 3-part, and there was one summer that was just a 1-parter, which is lame. I have read that story. Jeff and I did that one, but yeah, of the Justice League and the Justice Society teaming up.
Right.
And those stories are super fun.
I bet.
They are one of the greatest things about the Silver Age and the Bronze Age. They did those for like 15 or 20 years,
wow.
And they're awesome.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about this.
Yeah, we will.
Do it.
So we start off on Earth 2.
Yay!
In Gotham.
Yes.
Where Alan Scott Green Lantern is located.
And strangely doesn't have any interactions with Commissioner Gordon or Batman so much. But he's in Gotham City. You know
he works during the day. And Batman works at night.
Here's the thing. The real answer. DC Comics was kind of actually split into 2 factions back in the Golden Age. Okay. There was National Comics, which had your Batman, your Superman books. And All American, which was where you had Green Lantern and the JSA and Flash and all those characters, okay? And there were technically actually 2 companies, but owned and published by the same stuff. It's complicated. But same company, but also kind of not.
Okay.
It's like, imagine like 2 totally separate production companies in the same building, and they're owned by the same person.
Gotcha.
That kind of thing.
Cool.
Batman and Superman did guest appear in All-Star Comics, which is the book that Justice Society were teamed up like a time or 2. But that's more stuff. More stuff I don't want to get into right now. But that's kind of the short answer for why Batman and Green Lantern, even though they operated in the same city, never saw them in stories together. That would be a great book. That'd be a great comic series, like Batman and Green Lantern team ups.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
I'd enjoy that.
Robin and Doiby Dickles. Batmobile and Gertrude.
Yeah.
Anyway, go. I'm sorry.
So the first part of this story I felt was fairly unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
The explanation of why we're not even to the why we care about Green Lantern Earth 2 Green Lantern at this point. It's just he's at a benefit or a celebration for being in broadcasting for a while.
Wrong.
No?
Let me tell you why this is important. Because this is 1965. There is no internet. There are no trade paperbacks. There are no archive editions. Kids reading and picking up a comic book today might not even know there was a Green Lantern in the 1940s.
Okay.
And this sequence is important. It lets you know all the major stuff about him.
Okay.
It knows you, okay, Alan Scott, he was a broadcaster at whatever radio station in Gotham. Doiby Dickles was his sidekick. Gertrude is the cab they drove around in. That is their whole thing. Alan Scott's ring is... He can't do anything with wood. Which is a bigger weakness, I think, than yellow stuff. Because there's way more wood than yellow things.
I will disagree flat out on that.
Really?
You can paint something yellow. You can't make something wood that isn't.
Okay, but wood is everywhere. Everywhere. You could beat Green Lantern with a baseball bat. I almost swore. Sorry. With a baseball bat. Okay, Hal Jordan, you're like, okay, what's something yellow? You know?
Yeah, but
just carry around paint.
If someone has a baseball bat, you just fly above them a little bit.
Or paint it with yellow. But is that what you're saying? But
oh no, if they have a wood baseball bat,
yeah,
you just fly above them and then you hit them with something else.
I get it, but trees are a thing. Lots of things are. Buildings and other objects are made of wood. There's a lot of implements that can be used against Alan Scott.
Yeah, there's not many people, though, who are
You can hit him
a
with a chair. Okay? That's a thing.
Well, yeah, no, totally
chairs are everywhere.
Yeah,
chairs
but
exist.
Green Lantern got hit in the head with a lamp in, the first or second issue.
Yeah.
So, I'd say it's about... If one is not greater than it's even.
I would say 1/3 more of a weakness than Hal, at least.
I don't know.
Look,
because no one's gonna throw a house at Alan Scott.
Solomon Grundy might.
Okay.
Okay, right?
All right.
Or throw a tree at him. Yes, that is a thing. I swear to God, there's a issue of Brave and the Bold in Silver Age where Alan Scott and Dr. Fate are fighting Solomon Grundy in Slaughter Swamp, and he's gonna throw a tree at them, and that's a real problem.
You can dodge it.
Yeah, I think you would just sway out of the way.
True, they both can fly, so that's a thing. But stuff, okay.
All right.
Once you get out into space, though, there's no space wood.
Yeah.
That you know about, Sean. Yeah. By the way, Sean's here. Sean Roof. Sean, are you gonna be on the show next week?
Sure.
We're going to talk about Dr. Doom.
Oh.
Sure.
Great.
Dr. Doom is rad. Don't be unenthused. Don't be so
He's a bad
nonplussed.
guy. He's not rad.
He's the raddest bad guy around. The Red Skull's in those stories, too.
Oh, great. A Nazi?
Oh.
Sean's favorite.
Someone's excited about Nazis. It ain't this guy.
So a little preview. We're going to talk about Dr. Doom
That's true.
next
We're
week.
going to talk about that.
I just learned that, too.
Let's get back to our story.
Okay. We were 2 pages in. Go.
So, Doiby and Alan are in the cab, and...
What's the cab's name?
Gertrude.
Yay!
And Alan Scott sees a meteorite flying towards the city of Gotham, and he flies up to stop it, and it flies right through his powering beam, and and Doiby crashes into a tree because he isn't paying attention to the road. And Hal Jordan moves the tree, or not Hal Jordan, excuse me, Alan Scott.
Remember, Alan has a cape.
Right.
And they wear, if you'll notice, Alan wears the ring on his left hand, and Hal wears the ring on the right hand.
Oh.
Get with it, Spencer.
And so
I didn't actually know that until I saw the documentary Secret Origin: The Story of DC Comics, which is awesome. Have you seen it?
I don't know.
I'll bring it over.
Okay. So Alan Scott moves a tree with his power ring, which isn't supposed to be able to affect wood. And so he's like, whoa.
He is freaking out.
Yeah.
Man.
So this meteorite has caused special effect to happen to his ring. He's like, I gotta tell Hal Jordan about this.
Reasons.
Right, because if my ring works with wood now, his might be able to work against yellow.
Yeah.
And so he does the weird portal to another dimension and shows up while Hal is getting out of one of the test planes or test jets and says, hey, come
What
meet
is Hal's
me.
job again?
He's a test pilot at Ferris Air.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like his boss is kind of his girlfriend, or he wants
Yes,
her to
he
be.
loves her very much.
But she's only in love with Green Lantern and
Yeah.
not him. Even though they're the same person, he should just kind of go with it.
Right. Maybe
that would end all the dramatic transitions. Just go with it. Yeah.
So one of my things that's always bothered me is these women spend so much time with the alter ego.
What do you mean, these women? Don't be a sexist. I'm
These
kidding.
women
You're just
so
gonna
much
go
time with these men.
I can't believe you're being such a sexist right now. I thought you were a Joss Whedon fan.
Oh my gosh! And they talk to them. It's not like they change their voice when they're talking to these women.
Right.
The only time I've seen it is when
you know who the real
DC
sexists are?
Who's that?
DC Comics.
Yeah.
Because they think women are so dumb they wouldn't notice what a dumb broad they are for not realizing the Green Lantern and Hal Jordan's voice is exactly the same.
Right. I do like that.
You like that voice?
Oh, it was perfect.
Thank you.
It's
It's pretty much Andrew Dice Clay, like, to a T. Like, his whole career.
Yeah.
So,
and I assume he abuses women. So
Andrew Dice Clay?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
I
Let's be honest
hope
here.
he's not a listener. I mean,
Wouldn't
if
that
he
be
is-
crazy? That'd be awesome. Andrew Dice Clay loves Silver Age comics?
Right, yeah.
And he listens to our show? That's the greatest. I wonder if we can get him on.
Yeah,
We
Like-
like, make a video to like attack you guys too.
That'd be great. Andrew Dice Clay's like, man, let me tell you, I love the Green Lantern talk. He's like, now Doiby Dickles is now
Right,
Andrew
yeah.
Dice Clay because he says lantern.
Lantern.
So
Why you guys throw me under the bus?
you know, now that I think about
charges were dropped.
now that I think about it, I've never seen Doiby Dickles and Andrew Dice Clay
You
in the same
haven't seen
room.
them
I
in
mean,
the same room.
just like I made this argument about like Hitler and Walt Disney, like never saw them say. I think they're the same guy.
Probably.
Both anti-Semites. I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, right. Women and DC. So they do a good job in the
This is
Arrow
going to go
and-
down as our greatest episode ever, I think.
They do a good job in Arrow and the Flash on the CW network or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Of disguising their voices.
What does CW even
I
stand
have
for?
no idea.
Because I knew it was the WB, and when I was a kid, we didn't like get that station. It was real staticky, so I never got into Buffy.
That was just a shame.
I've been watching it now.
It's one of the best.
I totally started watching it because my friend Barbara is a comedian, and she's really cute and sweet. Let's be honest. I started watching it because of a girl. But anyway, but I'm a fan of Joss Whedon, but I had never watched Buffy. That's kind of like, I like Martin Scorsese, but I never watched The Godfather, you know? Actually, that's a great example. I've never watched The Godfather. Those are his movies, right, Scorsese?
I guess. I don't know.
No, shit, those aren't his. Those are,
Yeah, you're
that's
way
Coppola.
off.
I've been drinking. That's my
That's
excuse.
like liking an author and not knowing his books.
That's like, I just totally, you know what I did?
What did you do?
I just totally did the totally like similar kind of artist or creator kind of goof. Like,
Oh, so they all look the same to you?
no, like I like it's what I just did was like attributing, saying 1984 was written by Kurt
Ageist.
Vonnegut or something.
Ah.
Like, if you like Orwell, you probably like Vonnegut and vice versa. There's some big overlap in fan base
Gotcha.
there, because thinking and literature and stuff.
Yeah.
I know, right? And I just totally because I've never have seen the Godfather movies.
I haven't either.
Yeah. Jeff gets really mad at me for not seeing those movies.
I'm getting a dirty look from Sean right now.
Sean's seen them? Oh, good.
Those are classics.
I'll see them someday. I'm hand gesturing the someday.
That's not the right hand gesture, though.
What is the someday hand gesture, Sean? Do it. I'm sure the mic's gonna pick it up. Oh, I know what hand gesture you just give. That was.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyways,
what do you? We got on such a
Alan
rabbit
Scott-
trail. What's going on with the Green Lantern?
Episode.
Man, 40 minutes, 2 episodes. This is going to be like an hour and 20 minutes at least.
What's Green Lantern doing?
Green Lantern is charging up his power ring
Thank you, Sean.
and meeting
Sean
Alan
Roop,
Scott
the voice of
outside
reason.
of Ferris Air. Look, and he's like, "Oh, look, check this out! I can move this wooden box, and nothing happens." And so they decide to look into it. And Hal's like, "Oh, just do what I do. Talk to your ring a little bit." And so Alan Scott says, "Hey, ring, what happened?" And so we get this long but excellent explanation as to what happened.
See, I'm not really remembering Alan Scott's ring talking so much. As a thing.
Okay.
Like, it could be a thing. It's happening here, so clearly it is a thing.
Yeah.
But I remember, it's magic and stuff.
Yeah.
It's magic. It's from a meteor. It's different than Hal's ring, like, in a major way. And I think this story is interesting, and future stories also. It's interesting, Alan Scott's interaction with the Guardians and Hal, because he's Green Lantern, but it's totally not connected to the core or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get the origins of the Guardians of the Universe.
And then his daughter Jade, fast forward to All-Star Squadron, well, not really All-Star Squadron, but Infinity Incorporated, that's the book she's in. Her powers are her skin is green, and her powers are inborn.
Yeah.
I think Harlequin is her mother. And her brother, what's his name? Her brother, Obsidian is a homosexual.
Yes.
Yes, that's a thing.
Yep.
And his powers are vague, and I don't really understand them. But they're on a cool super team that are sons and daughters of JSA members.
Oh.
Infinity Incorporated. Roy Thomas wrote the series, and it's cool, and it's a nice companion to All-Star Squadron, which is an awesome book that you should read, and we should really get back to our main stuff.
Yeah.
What's Green Lantern doing?
Thank you, Sean.
He's listening to the Power Ring right now. Explained that for a long time the Guardians were not invulnerable. Eternal race. They don't die.
They're immortal.
Immortal. That's
the word. Think like Highlander.
Yeah.
There can be only a bunch.
Yeah.
Do they cut heads off?
They don't.
Oh.
So the Guardians are obsessed with figuring out nature, physics, and just all the sciencey things.
Oh yeah, and there's this one jerk off.
Yeah, Krona.
And this is before the Owens become the Guardians. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So Krona is out there trying to see the beginnings of everything. And if there's one thing you can't do is look at the beginning of everything. That's just kind of the one rule the Guardians have. There's this old prophecy.
I feel like they have lots of other rules.
Oh, yeah.
They're really into rules, I think.
If there's one major rule that they had at this point,
it's taboo. You don't look at the beginning of the universe or whatever.
And so he decides he's going to. And
of course! Krona is this huge, big, burly guy.
Right. Yeah.
And he's a super genius scientist and evil and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting, contrast to the Guardians, these squat little fellas.
So he looks at the beginning of the universe.
Sean just pointed out that Krona has a mustache, so he's evil.
Yeah. And so him looking at the beginning of the universe unleashes evil across the universe.
On the view screen that you always see of Krona seeing the universe, and there's a hand under it. You and I have read Crisis on Infinite Earths.
We have read Crisis on Infinite Earths.
And I think it's in Crisis on Infinite Earths or Ganthet's Tale, I can't remember, where it's revealed that the hand is Krona's hand.
Yeah.
It's either Krona or the Anti-Monitor.
I think it was the Anti-Monitor.
Was it the Anti-Monitor?
Yeah.
Internet, tell us if we're wrong, or
I am 95% sure it's the anti-monitor.
yeah, or
But Krona is involved.
the internet, aka Stephen Grant, well-known Stephen Grant, well-known and prolific comic book writer and screenwriter, is a fan of the show and frequently gives us notes.
Yeah.
Just on these Green Lantern episodes. I don't know if he even listens to the other episodes we put out.
Right.
Probably not. They're lousy. No. But no, that yeah. But
He is greatly respected.
he is greatly respected.
He will correct.
And controversial in his gosh, I'm just going on another rabbit trail. Stephen Grant is great. Of course, he wrote Two Guns and loads and loads and loads of things in comics, including some Green Lantern stories in the 80s, I think. I've been drinking. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And maybe I should
intervention.
maybe I should do this every time. This is a really good show, I feel.
Wait until you listen back at it.
Yeah, I probably will not feel this way in the morning.
Sylvester Stallone, everybody.
But about Stephen Grant, other thing of note that he wrote, Steve Gerber wrote this series called Omega the Unknown in the 70s, and then it got canceled, and kind of like there were some dangling plot threads, and Stephen Grant wrote kind of a controversial, I think, 2-issue wrap-up of that in The Defenders. And a lot of people are kind of like, have feelings about that. I have the trade, and I need to read it, and maybe we should do a special about that book. That would be fun.
That'd be cool.
Okay.
What's Green Lantern doing?
Thank you, John.
Unleashes evil across the universe, and this causes the Owens to set up the Green Lantern Corps to fight evil and
Stuff.
serve justice.
Hey, they're not mentioning the Manhunters. Their first
They-
screw-up try
Yeah.
at Galactic Police Force.
Yeah.
Because I think that was a retcon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they create the power battery.
Because they don't mention the Manhunters, do
I
they?
don't.
No, they don't.
They
No.
don't.
They like to forget about the Manhunters.
Well,
I
would.
won't. Huh?
I would want to forget about them, if I created them. So
I swear to God, I read another story from the 70s where there was like another thing even before the Manhunters.
Oh.
Like,
there was.
What was it? You read this too?
Searching,
Yeah.
processing.
Because I thought this was like a weird story that they try to kind of sweep under the rug. I wish I could remember it because like I read this comic.
Right.
But-
you know what? It was new.
This is in the 70s, and it was another race of folks. They weren't robots like the
Right.
Manhunters.
What was it?
They were kind of like a prototype for the Lantern Corps.
It was one of those crossover events with all the Green Lantern books.
Oh, because that narrows it down.
Right. Recently, in the last 2 years.
Was it the First Lantern? Was that the one?
Yeah. It was the first Lantern.
I think those crossovers work. Events work. God, we're just rabbit holing. This show is going to be like an hour and a half.
Let's just dive back in.
No, I'm going to say something about this.
Okay.
Events work fine if you have a family of titles like the Lantern books, or the Spidey books, or the Bat books. Okay, but these company-wide crossovers need to stop. Because it's crap. And it's just like it drives people out of reading comics, and it just sucks people dry, man.
Yeah.
It's lame.
So
I thought I was gonna have this impassioned speech, but
Choir.
no. I know. But I just can't do it. I don't want to read superhero comics unless it's in a trade anymore.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get back to our trade.
What's Green Lantern doing?
So we find out
Thank you,
that
Sean.
the Guardians shoved Krona into an energy pocket thing and shot him across the universe.
Krona's a great Green Lantern villain, by the way.
Yeah.
Super rad.
So as he's crossing the universe and stuff, he crosses Alan Stott, and he realizes, oh, this is my opportunity. And as he's flying by, and he flies through the beam of Earth 2 Green Lantern. He flies into the ring of Alan Scott and grants him the ability to move wood, which would send him back to the other universe so he could tell Hal Jordan, and Krona would be able to be released again so he can finally finish his experiment on viewing the beginnings of the universe. And so Hal Jordan tells the Guardians, and they're like, oh no, we'll come help you soon. And so Hal Jordan and Alan Scott team up, and they have to deal with raging waters, a volcano or a mountain that's trying to throw up rocks onto the city, and a tornado. And they solve them all. But at the end of the day, the Guardians finally catch up, and they to Hal Jordan and Alan Scott, and they say, we've established a headquarters here on Earth, but here's the thing, Hal Jordan, you have to give up the ring. You have to give your ring to Alan Scott.
And this is the beginning of Hal's, attitude with the Guardians.
Yeah.
The total sense of entitlement that he feels, all the sacrifices I've made, all how faithfully I've served the Corps, blah, blah, blah. And really, I think this is really, Hal's sense of entitlement. It's like white privilege, man. He's just giving him this uppity attitude, like, well, I'm so great, I deserve this. And, dude, if you come to your boss like that, and that's what this is, not gonna go so well, maybe.
Yeah. We find out, though, that Alan Scott, in the midst of all the fighting, his mind has been pushed out of his body, and Krona has taken over.
Mm-hmm.
So Krona has come before the Guardians, and he's mind-controlled them into making Green Lantern have to give him his ring. Which would give it to Alan Scott, and so he would have the power ring, and they start fighting. Oh no, he got to keep his own ring. But they start fighting, and he knocks out Hal Jordan. Krona does in Alan Scott's body, knocks out Hal Jordan, and then proceeds to go back to a hidden cave in the mountain to finish his experiments with the captured Guardians. He ditches Alan Scott's body, which knocks him out, and he begins viewing the beginnings of the universe again. Hal Jordan wakes up in the headquarters of the Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Universe.
I can't believe you did that. I'm the one who's been drinking.
I'm so mad. I've thought about it all night, and I'm like, nope, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. And I've done so well, and dang it,
You know who does that? Jeff.
Well, now you have two of us, so you're welcome.
This story's just too complicated.
Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy showing up.
Wow, that was a really good Jeff impression. He gets so mad about, weird names, these names. I'm like, what?
It's pronounced Krona.
Yeah.
Corona? He's a beer?
Jeff can't even drink beer. He's gluten intolerant.
Oh.
But,
That
that's serious. I would just kill myself. But,
Someone's been drinking! What's Green Lantern doing?
Yeah, Green Lantern. So Green Lantern's waking up, and Alan Scott's spirit warns him, hey, this is what's going on, and Hal takes off to save the day. He flies into the cave, and they have a sweet little battle.
So sweet.
Yeah. They fight. Hal wins. Guardians force Krona into energy pocket thing again and send him off in a direction that he would never cross another system ever again.
Except he totally comes back.
Yeah.
So.
Totally. There's Hal and Alan joke around a little bit. See you later.
It's a little homoerotic, let's be honest. And then they split.
Yep.
And
Not that
they
there's anything wrong with that.
no.
Nothing.
I'm not at all. I mean, but that is a thing, and it comes across a little bit that way. So
And
anyway,
then later, it's solidified.
is it?
Yeah.
How?
New 52.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a weird thing. 80s, Alan Scott's son is gay. Even though
Right.
I don't think they revealed that until much later, but it was kind of like sort of implied.
Right.
And then
We did a show about this.
Yeah.
no, we did an episode where we talked about, and then we talked about Alan Scott,
Yeah.
the reinterpretation in the New 52 being gay. And I actually really liked him in the New 52.
Yeah, no, he's great.
I thought that book was great. It was
Uh-huh.
one of the absolutely the best series in the New 52.
It was Earth 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, it was neat, and it was just like.
I remember it being such a huge deal, and I'm like, there's tons of gay characters. Why is this one being...
Yeah. It's just people getting mad because they're idiots.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, hey, let's talk about the next issue of Green Lantern. It's Green Lantern number 41, which is the December of 1965 issue. Boy, you were going to take the lead on these two episodes because I was confused as all crap.
Yes.
And I thought these stories were dumb as hell.
I'm going to be honest, I'm going to try to go through these as fast as possible.
Well, that's good because we're almost at an hour anyway with the show. So, the lead story is called The Double Life of Star Sapphire. Written by Gardner Fox, so you know it's going to be dumb as hell and confusing as hell.
God rest his soul.
No, I mean that. I mean, I have respect for Gardner Fox, but geez, a lot of his stuff is like, what?
All right, so let's jump in then.
No, hang on, I have to
Oh, okay.
finish.
Let's start that part now.
Art by Gil Kane, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and Sid Green.
And Sid Green.
Yeah, okay, just go.
All right, let's do this. So, Carol's in a new flying saucer thing that the Ferris Air has created. And
It looks like Mr. Fear's flying saucer thing from Daredevil. It does.
Okay.
Daredevil fans, you know what I'm talking about. Fingers crossed for Mr. Fear in Daredevil Season 2.
Carol is then attacked by the flying machine that she's flying in, and Green Lantern is amusing some kids with some pretend kites. And they're like, "Oh, look, you're gonna save her!" And he flies up and saves her. And he takes her to a doctor, and the doctor just kind of looks at her, and he's like, "Yep, she needs 12 hours of sleep, and then she'll be fine." Okay. But in the midst of her sleep, she kind of hypnotized, wakes up, and she goes and seeks out the Star Sapphire, the gem. And she picks it up, and she looks at it. She turns into Star Sapphire. And as she does it, Hal walks into the room, and they have a fight. Hal gets knocked out, wakes up, charges his ring, and then he goes up and tries to fight her. And he does. He fights her. And then it's kind of like a backup, retelling of the previous stories of Star Sapphire, and how the next time he met with
call
Star
that
Sapphire,
a flashback.
right? Flashback to the fact that the next time she became Star Sapphire, he was going to have to marry her. As
What's her name again?
Star Sapphire.
Can you say it 3 times
Star
fast?
Sapphire. Nope. You can't.
Nope.
I'm
Moving on.
talking as fast as I possibly can.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty old.
I'm done making fun of you.
So she gets away, and when Green Lantern comes to, he flies into the air to find her, and he finds her being attacked by these giant stone hands and a stone hammer, and she's about to be nailed with it, and she fights it back. She fights back, and she succeeds. And
Good for her.
right before he's about to interfere, this Zamaron warrior comes up and says, "Wait, this is not your Star Sapphire, Carol Ferris. It's a different one. We have a new one." I'm sorry. We have a new one.
As soon as the Zamarons show up, it just gets more confusing than I can even handle. So
Right.
Yeah.
So what we find out is that when Carol Ferris rejected the offer to become Queen of the Zamarons, they went and sought out a new queen. They got a new queen.
And she sucked.
Yeah, she wasn't a good one.
Yeah.
They were attacked, and they had to fight a war, and they didn't do as well as they would have if Carol was their queen, according to the people of Zamora.
How would they know she wasn't there?
Exactly. And so,
These are fickle people.
Seriously.
in order to prove to the people that they don't need her, she decided to fight Carol Ferris. And so now they're fighting, and Carol loses. Carol wins. And she's like,
Air
"Oh,
quotes.
I love you."
Yeah, when you
Hal
win with the
Jordan-
Zamorans, you really lose.
Right.
I mean, like,
Carol Ferris wins, kisses Green Lantern, reminds him, "Oh, we got to get married." They got to, then they have to decide whether they're going to get married and stay on Earth or get married and stay on Zamoran. One of them would have to give up, either being Queen or being Green Lantern. And so they decide, oh no, the best way to do that is with a fight. Carol and Hal fight, and Green Lantern loses.
Reasons.
Right. Green Lantern loses and says, "All right, I got to go back to Zamoran and become your husband." And so the ceremony is going through, and the priest or whatever is.
It's a chick, right? Are there even dudes on
I
Zamoran?
thought it was a dude.
Oh! There are fellas, apparently.
Yeah, he has a mustache.
Okay, clearly. Well,
And
you
a
know, I don't...
chef's hat. I don't
Mm.
know. It's a chef's hat, right?
It definitely looks like one.
Um,
I don't know what the W on his hat signifies.
Right.
William.
He says, Hal Jordan, in the midst of the ceremony, says, I'm duty bound to marry. I'm duty bound by my promise to marry Carol Ferris in her identity of Star Sapphire, but this woman is not Carol Ferris. She is Della Farron of Xanador, the other queen of the Zamorans.
Right, and she figured, like, well, I look just like Carol. Why can't I be her?
Right.
Because she saw Hal or Green Lantern or whatever,
Yeah.
and was in love with him at first sight because stuff.
So Hal
That's how women work.
binds
Oh my
her,
God.
and the real Carol Ferris shows up. Star Sapphire beams her. I don't know what their power's called. And everything's set right. Hal Jordan or Carol kind of knocked out again.
Yeah.
And takes her back to Earth, and he's shot down again because he's not Green Lantern.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have one final story in this issue.
And it's crazy.
Yeah, it is insane.
Hey, did I bring up Omega the Unknown earlier?
Omega the Unknown? No.
Steve Grant wrote like a couple. I said he did the wrap up of that.
Oh,
series
yeah.
After I got canceled. Okay, I didn't dream that. Okay, good.
You did.
Okay, has nothing to do with this story. Go ahead.
All right. So this story is by Gardner Fox, art by Gokane and Sid Green. The challenge of the coin creatures.
Yay!
So this
Thank you
guy,
for jumping in with the credits. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
This time.
This guy, what was his name?
Doesn't matter. He's just
Chuck
some.
Cullen breaks out of jail. And
How did he get out of
that's
jail?
He doesn't break out of jail.
Chuck Cullen.
Uh,
That's a name, all right.
He doesn't break out. He serves his sentence, and he says, "All right, well, they never found the treasure I was hiding. The police didn't, and so I'm going to go get it and make my millions." And he goes, and he's like, "I have all these rare coins with cool stuff on them." And as he pulls out the coins, they're blank.
He says he's been gypped,
Yeah.
which is really racist.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. That's like the one group that you can be racist against, and most people don't really care. Let's be honest.
It's true. Doesn't make it right.
That was the only racism I grew up in my house was my mom telling stories about how in her words how horrible the gypsies were.
Really?
And I didn't know what a gypsy even looked like or whatever, or anything. I could not identify them.
Right.
And so I just heard their stories about how awful the gypsies were, how thieving and gross and filthy they were. And
Like
from my racist mother, I guess. Then in college, I met a guy, and I totally thought I had no idea, like, what his background was. Really nice guy. I thought he was like Middle Eastern or something. I was just guessing. Turned out to be Gypsy. And he's like the greatest guy.
Oh.
Did you meet Adam Ristic? That's what I'm talking about.
I did my best not to meet anyone while I was at Warner.
Warner Pacific College in Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
I'm saying Oregon ironically because that's not how it's pronounced.
And if you pronounce it that way, you should shut up.
Okay, it's Oregon. But, fine. Why did you not want to... You met me.
I did, and that was enough.
Yeah, you're like, that was enough mistake. You were already married when you came.
Yeah, I had kind of already established
Yeah.
friend stuff, yeah.
It's a different experience.
You followed me there, and I was all you needed.
That's true.
Sean
Sean
was
is
all you
need.
That's my campaign slogan.
I can kind of believe that.
I don't need other friends. I have Sean.
Okay.
He lives in my house.
In the background of our recording session on mute is, I guess, an episode of Parks and Recs where Ant-Man is running for public office of some kind.
Yeah, he's a big dummy in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's his name, the actual actor?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. I'm so jazzed about that movie. It looks great. Anyway, Green Lantern.
So the
In
coins
this
are blank.
stupid story.
The coins are blank, but it turns out the
Images on the coins
have become
alive.
real things.
Including a bull with a man's face.
Right.
And a talking horse, not to be confused with Comet the Super Horse. And a Roman centurion and an owl. There's 2 horses, I think.
Yeah, because they're on a chariot.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they say, yeah, your coins are ruined. They'll not get you any money. So we're here to help you get that money. So they break into a bank. They steal a bunch of money. Green Lantern shows up. He's like, yeah, you can't do that. And he puts up like a wall against the 4 creatures, and they just bust through it. The Centurion throws a spear or javelin at Green Lantern, and it goes through Green Lantern's target and almost hits him. The owl attacks him with his talons, and Hal throws a tiger creature thing with his ring. He uses his ring to manifest a tiger to attack the owl.
I get how the Green Lantern ring makes stuff.
Right.
You don't really need to explain that any further.
Right, but I didn't want to say Hal throws a tiger at the owl.
Okay.
Because it sounds weird.
He's strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like he
strong
might
enough to
scoop
throw
him
a tiger, but pH balanced for a woman.
So the tiger doesn't do anything, and the owl flies right through. And instead, Hal uses his power ring to throw rocks at the bird. The chariot's barreling down on him, and he uses like a wave to try to stop it. Jumps out of the way. He fights the Centurion. The Centurion's gonna just beat him. And he gets knocked out by the Centurion, and he's dragged away by the 4 creatures, and they drag him into the power ring, leaving Chuck Cullen just outside of the ring somewhere. Because he's not seen again in this story.
Yeah. Doesn't Merwidden show up?
Yes. And so they bring Hal Jordan or Green Lantern before Merwidden, and we find out that Merwidden, although his voice has been taken from him, so he can't say his magic.
Oh yeah, because he was trapped in the ring and made mute.
Right.
Yeah.
He's created these horns and this organ horns.
Horns for producing auditory sounds.
Right.
Not like horns that grow out of your head.
Okay. And he
That's the trouble with English.
Those horns.
Words sometimes have multiple meanings.
Yeah. He uses those horns to create language so he can make his magic, which caused the creatures to come off the coins so he can attack Green Lantern. But we find out that in the last instant before Green Lantern was knocked out, he transferred his mind and the Centurion's mind, and the Centurion got knocked out while he was in Hal Jordan's or Green Lantern's body, but Green Lantern is now in the Centurion's body, and then switches back after he gets into the Power Ring and is gonna fight Merwin.
I'm totally lost at this point.
He switches back minds with the Centurion, and
Immediately after?
yeah,
So
like there's
a lot of mind transference. You know, as if switching minds with somebody was no big deal.
Right.
No, nothing to it.
So it's like, I punch Spencer, but Nick falls over.
kind of.
Oh, like Zaymot and
Because
Tomax
the minds
from
get
G.I.
switched
Joe.
back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Hal, realizing what the horns do, runs over and blasts a horn, which knocks out Merwin, and which causes the coin creatures to go away, and
Man.
This is nuts.
Yeah.
When was LSD created?
Oh,
well,
no.
I think it was a
Hal
chemical
sends,
for a long time.
Green Lantern sends the coin creatures away to put Colin back in jail.
Yeah.
And
What crime did he commit? He already served his time.
he might have broken out then. I thought he'd served his
Okay.
time.
Never mind.
After several years sweating out a jail term for robbery, I'm free. Yeah, no, he's free. He didn't do any. He didn't. Oh no, he robbed a bank.
Oh, again?
Yeah.
Oh, with the coin creatures.
Yeah.
Right, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And so Merwin's knocked out, and he wipes Merwin's memory of everything. Merwin has no idea what he's doing in this land or in the power.
That's a shocking abuse of power.
To eliminate any future threats by Merwin, I'm erasing the memory of who he is and where he is. Then, because I'm still in contact with my power ring and it is responsive to my will, I'll order it to return me to Earth.
Okay, so this story establishes Hal as a monster.
Yeah.
Because, look, whether someone is bad or not, that doesn't mean you get to take away their entire identity and all their memories. That's horrific.
So to this day, a memoryless man wanders back and forth across the world within the Power Ring, dazedly groping for the answers to his puzzled questions.
I'm sorry.
Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing here?
That's horrible. This is our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Hal Jordan, Green Lantern.
Yep.
That's
all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's pretty awful. Wow.
See ya.
Yeah, do we just want to, end the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's the end.
Okay, bye.
This is the end
We
song.
gotta... And you guys are just gonna keep milking this out. I'm still going.
And go.
And scene.
Resume your lives.
I'm doing the and scene hand gesture. Yeah, we gotta cut this crap out.